Adab and good evening. Lucknow Bioscope presents Nayaab Nageene, a series of lively evenings spent in the company of people who have lived and captured the essence of Lucknow through their lives and work. Today we are at the Avanbai Mansions, house of the Viccajees, for a conversation with our Nayaab Nageene, Zarine Viccajee. She belongs to the first Parsi family that settled in Lucknow and is the great-great-granddaughter of Nowrojee Damkewala. She's also an alumnus of Lucknow Degree College, where she was head of the Department of English. And the college later on became Awadh Girls Degree College, and Zarine continued her career there as well. Today, she is president of the Awadh Education Society that runs the Awadh Girls Degree College, a premier institution in the city. She's also president of the Parsi Anjuman and has recently published her autobiography, My Way. For me, personally, the heart of the matter is that you have been my teacher. ये उस्ताद और शागिर्द का रिश्ता कब दोस्ती में तब्दील हो गया, मुझे नहीं पता. शायद उस दिन हुआ जब आपने मुझसे कहा कि अब तुम मेरा नाम ले सकती हो, तुम मुझे जरीन कह सकती हो. भला लखनऊ की तहजीब और तकल्लुफ गवारा करेगी कि एक शागिर्द अपने उस्ताद को उसके नाम से पुकारे. Anyway, it took me a long time to overcome my hesitation, and today for me she is Zarine, a dear teacher and a dear friend. It is indeed my privilege that I am in conversation with you this evening.
Thank you so much, Noor. Students like you and people all around me continue to amaze me with the love, the respect, and the unexpected kitabs of Nayaab Nageene that have been for me. Of course, I feel very good about it, and I'm very happy to be sitting here with you today and answering one of your questions for a change. Situation has changed. You spent 3 years doing it for me, and you spent 1 hour doing it with me.
Thank you, Zarine. My first obvious question to you would be that how does it feel to belong to the first Parsi family that settled in Lucknow?
Yes, that is something that we are very proud of. Actually, it is my mother's family that my great-great-grandfather from my mother's side, Nowrojee Damkewala, came here on horseback in the name of Muhammad Ali Shah and Nawab. And he came trading in silk and pearls from China. And he got the culture somehow, this city so much, that he decided he would settle here. And once he decided to settle here, then he decided to meet another Parsi. Because Parsi giving us Parsi life. So he called his lawyer, called his doctor, he called his other friends. And thus, small population, Parsi population of Lucknow. And then a chance that my mother and went to the war. And we all know what happened in partition. They had to come back. His mother was really tired. And she had to leave much major pain. And no one to look after these parts that changed and all the other things. Father is like, fell in love just like Nowrojee Damkewala. Where
You're also the president of the Parsi Anjuman.
Yes, at the moment I am. For the second or third term. At different times, not
But what would the Parsi population be like in Lucknow? You've had very prominent Parsis
yes.
in Lucknow.
Yes. People who are very, very respected, very well known. Dr. Kamra engineer, doing the general manager of the central bank, General William Modia, who used to be of central command, all kinds of people and all kinds of people coming from some decided. I think optimum in Lucknow they will never want to do.
That's a small population.
Very small population, but this is the amount of Parsi in the world. The sizable combination of ask the land to make the one kind of land allocation for and there. And also my grandfather, my first grandfather managed to last land because here unlike in Bombay where my area.
Oh, that's
Also land for that. The government was very high. And yet, I have all these buildings. And there are 40 flats. There are most of those that is part of population.
To take this the evening further, in today's changing world, full of contradiction, how are you able to maintain your relevance, values, and credibility?
Values, I must credit to my parents because they instilled the values in us much more and we in the present generation. And so the values I attribute to them, and I'm ever grateful that they me who I am, what I am. And gave me the confidence to lead in my life. And unfortunately, that Lucknow is where friendships form for generations.
Yes.
As we all stay in my friendship and for generations. And that being Parsi is not a large generation, it comes from Parsi. There is strength, all kinds of and all of them country friends give value and of course the now but
I think it's just everything is just a cycle.
yes, and that's why I think that is a long time. This
I was just looking into your autobiography, My Way, and there's a very sweet little incident that you have narrated. You talk about the initial years of your schooling at Loreto,
right,
and you were driven to school in a tonga,
right. Yes.
and the horse always demanded a jalebi each time he passed by a certain halwai. और उसकी आड़ में आप भी जलेबी खा लेती थी.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The horse called Pitfit and was a beautiful white large horse. One of the race was with my father, my grandfather, and then we would make them into tongas and carriages, which is the business that the family adopted after they settled in the country. They carriage, mangoes, cameroons, courier. So Pitfit loved it, right? And there was a mixed shop on the way from the house. And he would not, he That is not in Delhi. And so he got the jalebi and we got our jalebi. He was trying to mix it. I don't eat it. This is difficult for people to visualize. Now when I do not eat jalebis, we are bad.
So your old world connection, despite not being from that generation, shows the path to the younger generation to respect family traditions, to live together. What is your comment on that? In fact, in your autobiography, the family plays a huge role.
It is basically about my family.
Mhm.
My autobiography is, I said to my friends in College, they will find passing mention. But my family was what I was talking about. Actually, I have this habit of telling stories. And every time someone told me, "Will लिखती क्यों नहीं हो मतलब 10-20-50 लोग ने बोला कि लिखती जाना but that's how actually with autobiography is very heavy for like memoirs and yes my family was and will always be very important to me values taught by them one I'm very proud to say I'm very excited my sisters my parents all my brothers, daughters, my brothers, they all have values for family. They all respect family, and we are and we are happily living together in pandemic. One of the children came from Bombay, and now they go out from this place to their work.
Yes, because yours is one of the few families. I mean, we're also used to seeing a nuclear family setup today. Yours is one of the few homes where there are several generations living together. The credit is yours.
The credit actually is my parents because while they lived, my mother looked after her parents, her what we call them, chacha, her Bua, all of them lived under the same roof. And even after her parents had passed away, they looked after them again. And so we have you want to see and we invite or learn what is around. When I saw there people get at the time, and in any case, my parents were delighted to get so broad-minded, so inclusive, so proud of really little things that we did. That it was generation gap. There was no generation gap. They had no generation gap in my family with the generation of people. I don't know what people do with them. We are all friends. My children are friends. But you have been a very competent and popular teacher. I can vouch for that. I have been very fortunate in yes, of having enjoyed a lot of goodwill and popularity as a teacher. But you know, the last profession my friends would have thought I would enter when I was 20 years old, 21. The last profession they would have thought would be that I would become a lecturer in a college. And this came about in a very funny way. And we go to Nainital every summer, and the same best comes, and then also the big fall comes, and my any results were released. And an advertisement was there in the newspaper at the club. English lecturer needed by Christchurch College, Kanpur. Application. I had not got my results. I had not got any testimonials. I was on a holiday. I said, I can get this job like anything, very cocky. And my friend said, पाओ तो दिखाओ, अगले साल जमाना bet लियो, कल ले लो. So from Nainital, I applied for that job and said that I substantiate everything that I am claiming when I come, when I have the papers in hand. I forgot about it. I came to Lucknow and a letter was waiting for an interview to Christchurch College. So my mother said, "Chalo, to jana hai." So I took all my papers and went there, and there were 32 applicants waiting in the waiting hall. And they were going to interview us by alphabetical order. And what are my initials? Zarine Viccajee. So my interview took place waiting from 10 in the morning to 8 at night. And I would have come away after breakfast. But my mother said, "No, I had interview today." And that's how I got my first job. I worked for a year at Christchurch College, Kanpur.
And this is something I didn't know.
Yeah,
I thought you had always been that.
No. I worked in Christchurch College, Kanpur for a year. Then I felt very ill with gastroenteritis and I came to Viccajees. And I was just driving across from Dover. And this nun jumped in front of my car and I've spoken about it so often in Palm Leaves and other Loreto magazines. And she pointed the car and she said, "Are you Zarine Viccajee?" I told her that I am, because I drove a very distinctive view in those days, and there were not many of that kind. So she said, "Well, we have a vacancy for an English teacher. And will you come and teach English?" I said, "I surely will. I have just come from Kanpur and I will." And I came home very happy that I got a job in Loreto. And my mother said, "Zarine, Eva Shipston, the principal of IT college at home. There's a vacancy in the IT college."
So you've been in demand.
When fate smiles, it smiles. I said I've accepted Loreto and I haven't regretted it. I enjoy teaching in my alma mater. That's how things go, and really life is not what you plan. Life, as John Lennon said, life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. You know. So
And then you were there when Loreto Degree College transitioned into
yes.
the Awadh Girls
And
as it is today.
As it is today. And that is the first time actually that I had to give an interview for Loreto.
After having taught that many years.
After having taught that many years. Because then the UGC came into play. And you had to qualify by the UGC. So we lost many of our very good teachers actually, because they did not qualify. The nuns appointed us as a जिनका मन जैसे जिसका मन किया उनको ले लिया जो अच्छे. But we lost some of our very good teachers, and I was lucky. I continued.
Apart from your teaching, you always had a very high profile in the college, because you were interested in many other things also. Yeah. You directed plays, you directed musical evenings, you looked into fashion shows, quizzes. So this was also your strength. What would you say to that?
Well, to that I, while I was still a student in Loreto and also at the Lucknow University, I was made to speak in so many debates. And at the risk of sounding very pompous, if I may, there is not a single debate that I did not bring home a prize. And so I got interested in that. I was petrified of the stage, so I could not act. But when I sat behind the director's chair, I found I could.
You could direct.
So I directed plays, and Ruby, my sister, used to model, not professionally, but yes, when shows would be organized here, not college, Lucknow level, Femina shows that used to come. She has even modeled in Femina shows. So I used to be dressing her up and doing her makeup and all behind stage. So I knew exactly what could be done and what could not or should not be done. So I also used to hold fashion shows. और बाकी सब तो
just a good word or 5 minutes of talking. And
yes, but I know that you always accompanied students. Today, people hesitate to accompany students and take them outstation, but you were always accompanying students when they went to participate in intercollegiate festivals at the IIT, at
all the Delhi
IIT
colleges,
Kanpur, or the Delhi University,
Loreto, Calcutta. Yes, actually, you see, I think the factor there was that I myself was very young. When I started to teach in Loreto, there was a 3-year gap between the 3 years of college. So the first batch I taught was the batch that was entering BA when I was passing out. So they were familiar with me actually as a post-student. So there was that the age made it more of a maybe I don't say I was friends with them. Some of the students still tell me that they were petrified. I don't know what. And some of the friends, some of the friends told me that we took you very lightly because you had a sense of humor. I was passionate about poetry and drama, which I again got from my mother. And I taught for 22 years, but my mother could quote more poetry than I ever could. You know, so I do attribute a lot of it to that. So I think the age difference between the students and me contributed to the fact that they were very comfortable with me as an escort. Also, I was very, I could often shut my one eye to some things which more strict and traditional teachers may not. So they insisted every time there was a call for a escort, Miss Viccajee, Miss Viccajee, Miss Viccajee. Till Miss Viccajee one day said no, others have to go. I can't keep missing my classes and keep going for these various. That's how come I think.
uh, institution where you taught for so many years, I think more than 20 years,
22.
22 years, and now you find yourself managing it. You're the president of the Awadh Education Society that runs the Awadh Girls Degree College. How do you see this change in your role? You resigned from your job, wasn't it?
I did take what they now they call it premature retirement now. Actually, I was about 44, and my mother was very unwell, and I didn't want to not be with her in the last 2-3 years of her life, and I couldn't keep taking leave. So it was a very conscious decision to give up something that I did enjoy tremendously, which is why I resigned. I had my letter torn up and returned to me at least twice because they could not understand why I'm doing it, but they understood finally, the managing committee then. And then after a few years, they asked me to come on to the managing committee. And then Begum Habibullah was Auntie Hamida to me forever. And many of the members of the committee, like Mrs. Das, and so many others, Mrs. Manglik, were all people who were friends of my mother. So I was like, they nurtured me, they guided me into the role. And then I became manager. And then Begum Saab, when she was 99, said, God bless her, that I think I should retire. And we said, nahi, abhi to aapko 100 saal aur rehne hain. But she said, now I will retire, but I will retire on the condition that Zarine becomes president.
So you find yourself.
I couldn't refuse Auntie Hamid. I still think it's a yoke around my neck, but I couldn't refuse Auntie Hamid. So that's how I became president. My life has always
sure you enjoyed contributing in another way.
Yes, of course. It's a different side of the coin.
Yes.
And unfortunately, the coin is becoming a little darker and darker as newer and newer trends are coming. And so many other things that lecturers in my time were not supposed to do are expected to do now. I think teaching is not necessarily now the be all and the end all for a lecturer. They have to publish papers and they have to, do all kinds of ledger work. And I resigned in time. while I was still enjoying my teaching. So yeah, that's yeah.
To go back to an earlier question about your family, I just want to listen to hear once more that little episode about the carriage and the Nawab, which had us in splits the last time that you told us.
Yeah. Actually, as I said, my family started to build these carriages. And amongst the most fancy and the smallest of the carriages was something called a cabriolet. It was a French carriage. There was a Nanne Nawab of Narai.
Nanne Nawab
Nanne of Narai.
down the road.
Narai. And he came to the showroom and he was called Nanne, I don't know why, because he was a huge fat man and he loved the cabriolet. अब उन दिनों में कोई उनको ये नहीं कह सकता था कि साहब आप इसमें अटेंगे नहीं, तो वो अटेंडेंट्स ने कहा ये आपके काबिल नहीं है, ये दूसरी गाड़ी आप देख लीजिए ना, तो फला ढमाक, लेकिन उन्होंने कहा नहीं साहब हमें तो यही चाहिए, तो उन्होंने खोल दिया उसका दरवाजा और ज्यों त्यों करके उनको पीछे से धक्का वक्का दे के वो अंदर बैठ गए। अब वो अंदर बैठ तो गए लेकिन बैठ भी नहीं पाए और निकल भी नहीं पाए। अब आफत, पूरी कैरेज को डिसमेंटल करना पड़ा। पूरी कैरेज जब टूटी तो नन्हे नवाब बाहर निकले और बहुत शेम फेसिडली कहा साहब आप सही थे, अब मुझे कोई और गाड़ी दिखा दीजिए। So things like this my mother would tell us and we would be fascinated with these stories of the eccentricities which was so endearing of the Nawabs of that time, you know.
Zarine, then why are you surprised when we call you Nayaab Nageene? You yourself may not have been witness to these so-called lovable eccentricities of Lucknow, but you have heard them narrated firsthand in your own.
Let me tell you at risk of being short, I've also seen many mad incident and eccentricity in my lifetime, but we won't go into that and I won't name them. But वो नन्हे नवाब तो अब कब के कहाँ चले गए।
So you want to keep those other eccentricities for yet another episode of Nayaab Nageene?
Well, I don't think anyone will be interested in listening to me for another hour, but you never know. So yeah, actually life, I certainly believe, is to be enjoyed. Life is something that God gives you. Live it. Enjoy it. And if you do, then you make everyone around you happy. And of course, I have two major faults, as I mentioned in my memoirs: impatience and very flaring temper. And my father used to call me Fuljadi because he said, तुम फुर्र से गुस्सा हो जाती हो लेकिन उतनी जल्दी तुम्हारा गुस्सा खत्म हो जाता है। तो जब मेरा नेव्यू पैदा हुआ और वो मम्मा पापा बोलने लगा डैडी मम्मी, ऐसे में मासी भी तो बोलना सीखो। तो बार बार मैंने कहा मासी बोलो, तो उसने कहा माचिस, and my father was thrilled. He said, see, he also knows what your intrinsic nature is. So these two children of my sisters have given me so much joy. Had I not had these two children, having not married for whatever reasons, my life would not be different. But Sanaya and Ashish complete me in every way. They are the darlingest children that I could ever hope to have.
I would agree.
And their father and mother let them be my children as much as they were their own. I have to give them credit for that. So yeah, Kismat.
आपका घर अपनी मेहमान नवाजी के लिए मशहूर है। ये और आपने अपने मेमोइर्स में अक्सर जिक्र किया है बसंती का, लाल मोहम्मद का, हीरा लाल का, all those trusted retainers who played a very big role in your life.
Yes.
Who are no longer there.
No, they all
but
died.
you are care to remember them.
I remember them very vividly because they were very much a part of our life. Our retainers were never treated as servants. They talked to us, uh, at a level that as if they were uh, never rudely as equals, but as friends. We would be allowed to go to their homes, we would be in their quarters, we would be allowed to eat out of their thal. We would never refuse an invitation, whether it was the Havaldar or the Jamadar or the Thekedar. We went to their house if they called us for a function. They were part of our family. And we never lost a servant. Everyone who joined and stayed only left when they passed away. And my mother educated their children so well that now we are suffering. अब कोई कहीं तो बड़ी नौकरी पे है, कोई एयरटेल में है, कोई लॉयर है, कोई कुछ है, कोई कुछ है. अब हमें नौकरों की तंगी महसूस हो रही. वो सारा जनरेशन बसंती तो बच्चों की मेट थी, and she loved them with a passion. And when we suggested when Sanaya was born कि भाई दूसरी आया रख लें, she sulked, packed her bags and said, I'm going home to get anyone else. I'm going to look after both the children. ऐसे लोग कहाँ मिलते हैं? जान छिड़कते थे नौकर. लाल मोहम्मद कुछ 2 महीने में एक पार्टी या 1-2 हफ्ते में एक पार्टी ना हो तो यूज टू गेट बोर्ड. कि मुझे रखा क्यों? मैं खाना नहीं पका पाऊंगा तो फायदा क्या? Things like that, like, I don't know, maybe I've just had a magical childhood.
I know because when we were discussing the Khan Saag recipe, which you have shared with us in our cookbook, you always mention Lal Muhammad's name.
Correct?
And you say that he's the one who learned the recipe from your mother.
From my mother. Correct? My mother turned into a most superb cook. When she married and went to Lahore and got stuck there with no servants and the partition, she had not even made a cup of tea in our house. But marta kya na karta? She just started to cook and she started to, and she became into fabulous. Even after she lost her vision, which she did, it was very surprising. When we used to hold big parties, she would be taken a tray full of spices by the cook, and she would take it out by feel. Yes, इतना पोस्ता डालो, इतना धनिया डालो, इतना जीरा डालो, ये to perfection.
जब एक सेंस चला जाता है
तो दूसरा डेवलप हो जाता है. और उनकी हियरिंग इतनी शार्प हो गई थी कि जब आवाज से कोई उनसे बात करता था तो वो नाम से जवाब देती थी. तो बल्कि लोग पूछते थे कि भाई आई सो शी कांट सी. ऐसा भी कोई कहेगा अपनी माँ के लिए that she can't see, she can. Anyway, yeah.
So I hope our viewers are typing in their questions. We want to give ample time to ask, because usually it's always a very hurried thing that we just choose one question or 2 questions because time is up. So we request our viewers also to watch the show, but simultaneously type in their questions as well. I know because I have always enjoyed the Khan Saag in your home setting, and I know that whenever you call me to dinner, I always ask you, I hope the vegetarian version is going to be correct, and you always obliged.
Correct. Yes. So, yeah. It is unheard of in Parsi homes, but yes.
But you do it for me.
Yes, for many.
Yes, and many others.
Yes. But you are one of the very favored.
And your recipe figures in the cookbook that we brought out last year.
Yes.
And so you also figure as one of the contributors.
Sanat Kada has always looked at me with a very favorable vision. I am very grateful to have been able to do whatever little I could have done whenever I could do it. And I shall continue to do so.
I remember on one occasion, we desperately needed the Khan Saag for our Sunday food festival during the Mahindra Lucknow festival, and you happened to be in Bombay. So we rang you up and you said, we want this, we want that many kilos of Khan Saag. So you said it will be done. I'm in Bombay, it will be Bombay.
That's when I had my old staff.
So perhaps Lal Mohammed was still around.
No, Lal Mohammed तो नहीं था, लेकिन पार्वती थी. Who had
Parvati.
learned everything from him.
So वो हमारे पास वक्त पे पहुंच
जी,
गया
जी, जी.
and sold out as a very popular dish for the Sunday lunch.
Good.
The- I remember on one occasion we were stuck and wanting to talk to someone in Lucknow who would tell us about ballroom dancing, nuances of the rules of ballroom dancing, the subtle nuances, and we just couldn't think of anyone else but you. And that 1 hour that I spent with you just passed by. So I request you to share with our viewers.
What, ballroom dancing?
Yes. I wish I could ask you to just get up.
I wish my legs would let me do it now. But yes, that was a passion with me. I used to love ballroom dancing. And in the Lucknow that I grew up, there were so many dance clubs, there were discotheques, there were ballrooms, the Mohammadabad Club ballroom, the Boathouse Club ballroom. People danced. They danced like you see on screen in Hollywood. They were actually dancing waltzes, foxtrots, chachas, jives. And again, for the second time, I apologize for my conceit. But I loved them all, did them all, and won many prizes in them all. That was my passion. And when I was struck by what was known as teenage arthritis, and I gave my MA exam on crutches, it was so bad. Then the doctor told me, he said कि आप वजन गेन कर लेंगी, लेकिन आप नाचती रहें. स्टेरॉइड में देता हूँ. मैंने कहा मैं वजन ले लूंगी और नाचा करूंगी, आप मुझे स्टेरॉइड दीजिए. And that's what I did, and yes, so different beats to different
Yes, if you
dances.
could just tell us something about that. That's what we.
Are you sure we have time? Haven't we bored everyone enough?
Maybe another. We have a little time, then we start taking.
Okay, all right.
Because there's nobody else in Lucknow. That's why you're
No,
the.
I'm sure if you went looking, there are other people, but maybe not as many as who have won so many awards. No, well, in the waltz you have a 3 beat, which is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and pirouetting, swiveling round and round. And then because if you go round and round in one direction, you tend to lose your balance. So someone who knows the waltz will dance 4, 5 times right, and then 4, 5 times to the left. So that varna, you are likely to fall and break your leg. So these are the things. So I had very many, very wonderful partners. In those days, we used to have a lot of foreign students studying in the medical college. Because our medical college being so prestigious, the medical college used to have students from Africa, from Mauritius, from other countries where our degree was taken status quo. So these people, Indian origin, most of them, but they used to come, and the African people, the rhythm and the dance.
Oh, they are born to it.
So then they came and हमारी तो चांदी हो गई. हमने तो सबसे दोस्ती कर ली. हमारा वॉल्स पार्टनर एक था, हमारा फॉक्सट्रॉट पार्टनर एक था, हमारा जाइव पार्टनर कोई और था. ऑटोमेटिकली हमारा ऑल टाइम फेवरेट पार्टनर एक लखनऊ का लड़का था. हाँ, बता देती हूँ, क्योंकि वो सिर्फ डांस पार्टनर था, इसलिए बता देती हूँ. विक्रम सिंह. Anyone who has known me in Lucknow then will know that who I'm talking about and why. We did magic on the floor.
He's no one.
Unfortunately, he died very young, very young. And his wife didn't dance at all. When he got married and got this lady, I said, भैया ये तो हम गंजा कर देंगे, हम तुम्हारे साथ, तो हम एक साथ नाचा करते हो, लेकिन बीवी के साथ जाके नाचो. तो मैंने कहा बीवी नाचती नहीं. So I went to her and I said, देख, ये हमारे डांस पार्टनर है और उसके अलावा कुछ. हमें डांसिंग का बहुत शौक है, इनको डांसिंग का बहुत शौक. आप कहें तो मैं इनके साथ नाचूं, आप कहें तो मैं नहीं नाचूं, मैं और पार्टनर्स हैं, से नहीं नहीं अपना अच्छी
How
life
wonderful,
was great.
how wonderful
Yeah.
that you can talk. How wonderful that you can talk to us of a Lucknow that was.
It was such a
The
wonderful
last
city.
decades, the last 3 decades of the 20th century.
It was a wonderful city. The roads, the shopkeepers, the tamiz, the tehzeeb. I mean, I wouldn't live anywhere else. Even now, I wouldn't live anywhere.
तभी तो आपकी जबान इतनी साफ है, मैं हमेशा ये कहता हूँ अंग्रेजी तो इज एक्सपेक्टेड, मगर आपकी जो हिंदुस्तानी है वो भी बहुत साफ है।
वो तो मेरा शौक, क्योंकि गजल और शायरी और ये सब का मेरा शौक है, तो जब तक समझो नहीं तो शौक क्या पाता, तो थोड़ा बहुत तो अपने आप को उसमें माहिर करना पड़ता है। बट इट्स ऑल बाय वर्ड ऑफ माउथ. आई कांट रीड और राइट उर्दू. I can't read or write Gujarati either.
Really? Obviously.
But I can speak it fluently also.
You can speak Gujarati?
Yes, fluently. That's my mother tongue. My Parsi Gujarati. Not the Gujarati. There's a big difference. ठेठ हिंदी जैसे होती है वो गुजराती होती है, और हिंदुस्तानी जिसको कहते हैं मतलब मिली जुली वो हम लोग बोलते हैं. तो फर्क है, काफी फर्क है. But we can follow. We can converse with each other.
So have the Parsis picked up other traditions from Gujarat?
The साड़ी,
the
सीधे पल्ले की साड़ी. फर्क इतना है कि वो लोग छोटा पल्ला पहनते हैं, हम लोग लंबा पल्ला.
We've had the privilege of seeing your beautiful collection of. Maybe have a 2 minute on your side, please.
अब साड़ीज के बारे में क्या बोलना?
Please, just a 1 minute.
You see what we call garas and cords. These are the specialities of Parsi wear. Garas are embroidered sarees, fully embroidered, hand embroidered. And to add to the value, some of the garas, which are very, very rare to find, are embroidered identically on both sides.
Really?
Yes. And the motives of it were always birds of birds of paradise, paisley designs, kanda papeta, what we call, which are dots, kanda being onion and papeta being potato, dots all over, and such things. So yeah, we inherited. And the cores are the borders that we have, again hand embroidered, which go all.
So are these Gujarati or are they Chinese? What is
Chinese. They were all on Chinese silk. This we didn't get from Gujarat. This was something I think our ancestors carried from the art from Persia. And on Chinese silk, they were put down on Chinese silk, of the kind that probably my great-great-grandfather used to get and imported when he came on horseback from Lucknow.
Because you have a very large collection. I've seen some of your collection.
Oh, I'm fortunate. I have inherited some. I've lost a lot, but I've still got some.
If I have your permission, can we have a look at some questions? That
Please.
Somebody is asking, do you plan to write? Do you plan to write another book? Who is asking?
I really don't know. My friends are asking me to write because they say they have eliminated them from my autobiography. So I always tell them that if I write and I open all your secrets, then don't jump down my throat. And if they all guarantee that, then I may. Otherwise, no.
So, of course, there are some happy signs, and there are some someone saying, happy hearing you. Please tell us more about your home, Avanbai Mansions. Someone is curious to know.
ये तो ancestral home है, बड़ा घर है. पहले, I'll tell you something very interesting about my home. Where we are sitting now, this whole building was only the entertainment area. Every room was as large as this, 8 such rooms, only for entertainment and dining. And we lived across a bridge. bridge. On the other side, where now we have given out to Chaudhary Lodge and
So
Mabruz.
the two buildings were connected by a bridge.
Bridge, that private road that runs in between.
The dentist.
Yes, that would dentist, dentist is. Yes, but yes, for common usage. So we used to live that side.
Roof to roof.
दो अलग बिल्डिंग्स थी भाई, है अभी भी, और हम वहां रहते थे और यहाँ आते थे.
ब्रिज है अभी?
ब्रिज तो नहीं है, लेकिन उसके ढांचा खड़ा. तो हम लोग तो बचपन में उधर से चढ़ते थे और ब्रिज से आते थे, और यहाँ पार्टियां होती थी, फिर अपनी तरफ चले जाते. So that was an interesting part of the house.
So when did you shift?
Then we shifted in here perhaps when my parents came back from Lahore. Then my mother's father and mother, my grandparents, were very unwell, and they couldn't do this back and forth. So my grandfather's younger brother stayed on that side with his two sisters who were not married, and my grandfather and we shifted this side, and we had to modify. Naturally, we couldn't live in large rooms, and all the toilets in those days, like in every home in Lucknow, there used to be आंगन पार करके बड़े-बड़े toilets थे, ये वो सब बाद में.
Even today, you have maintained your rafters very beautifully.
हाँ, इनको बदलवाना नहीं बदलवाना पड़ता है कभी-कभी, because it's wood.
It's good, it catches
termite. Well, fortunately, we have not had much of a termite thing, but कभी-कभी पानी जब अंदर आ जाता है या कभी कुछ ऐसा, तो बदलवाना पड़ता है for safety sake. And when we started to put in, पहले तो खस के कट्टर लगते थे खिड़की दरवाजों पे, बिजली होता था जो पानी दिया करता था, कूलर चलते थे. अब जब एयर कंडीशनर लगाए तो वो एयर कंडीशनर कंपनी कहे कि साहब आप फॉल सीलिंग लगाइए. And my parents and I, very instrumental, फॉल सीलिंग के अंदर हम रहेंगे, हमको तो इतने ऊंचे छत के नीचे रहना. तो इनफैक्ट एयर कंडीशनिंग पीपल टोल्ड अस कि साहब फिर हम रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं है कि कमरा ठंडा हो जाए. मैंने कहा ठीक है, बताइए.
So Diksha Salmani is asking you, do you think that the Lucknow we are witnessing now has emerged more openly in terms of food and culture, or was it better in the older times?
Indian culture.
Food and culture. I think just
it's different. It's different. That time the eccentricities were part of it, but the food and the culture of Lucknow is still the food is definitely still a part of it, and you get the best of the best food still in the smallest of the small nooks and crannies of Lucknow. Actually, the best of Awadhi food you get in the gully cookies of Lucknow.
Yes, I also.
तो वो तो है ही है. It continues. The food continues.
Yashu is asking you, what change have you observed in the new generation which you like or which upsets you?
I think,
don't say one thing.
No, what I say actually Lucknow children, for some reason, there is a bond they share with people they have known from childhood. And as I said, everyone knew everyone in Lucknow, in particular stratas of society. You can't know everyone. But children of Lucknow, who have gone out, have done very well for themselves, almost all. And B, when they come back to Lucknow, the love and the respect they give to us, who are not family, but friends, 90% continues. But yes, like the young gentlemen here or others, they are more casual about life, and we are. But that's all right. Once you tell them that you're being a little casual, देखिए कितने प्यार से हंसते और माफी मांग लेते हैं, फिर आप क्या करें, प्यार ही दे सकते हैं, यही होता है.
और आखिरी सवाल क्या आखिरी एक्नॉलेजमेंट आपकी स्टूडेंट विधि भार्गव का है.
हाँ.
वो कहती हैं कि all the past, she's currently the president of the
Yes.
Loreto Alumnus Society. So she says that all the past pupils of Loreto College, Lucknow, owe it to you, Zarine ma'am, for establishing Loreto Alumni Association way back in 1986. That's another feather to your cap.
Which I did, because it had already become, I was teaching in Awadh, and I got a call from Loreto to say कि भाई आप principal साहिबा आपसे मिलना चाहती हैं. तो मैं गई. She had never been my principal, but Mother Bernadine, who had been principal when I was a student, told her that get hold of Zarine and say to start a Loreto alumni in Lucknow. तो उन्होंने हमसे कहा, तो हमने अपने 8-10 दोस्तों को पकड़ा, हमने लोरेटो अलमनी एसोसिएशन फॉर्म कर लिया और दे वर वेरी हैप्पी टू बी फॉर्म. पहला प्रेसिडेंट हमने खास खुद ना बन के नैना बिसारिया को बनाया और हम सेक्रेटरी बन गए. 1 साल वो प्रेसिडेंट रही, उसके बाद 8 साल लगातार प्रेसिडेंट. मेरे ये 8 साल का चक्कर हमारा कभी खत्म ही नहीं होता. मैनेजर ऑफ अवध डिग्री कॉलेज 8 साल, अब प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ अवध डिग्री कॉलेज देखिए कितने साल जाता है. तो फिर हम लोग ने रूल्स बनाए, देन वी रजिस्टर्ड इट, देन वी नाउ ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन ओनली स्टे फॉर 2 terms of 2 years. So people can't just hang on to a chair.
Yes, I think Vidhi herself is doing a second term.
She is doing.
She does a fabulous
She
job.
is very good. She is very good. But all the office bearers of Awadh at the moment of the alumni are doing a very good job.
I thought that was going to be the last question, but someone is squeezing in a little more. We have another 10 minutes or so. Is it okay?
I'm all right. I mean, people shouldn't get bored is all I'm worried about.
So someone say, hi Zarine, I'm Meera Mawalwala.
Oh my God.
Wife of Farooq Mawalwala. Farooq is no more. Nice listening to you. We had met many years ago. You recall her?
I do recall you. I recall all the Mawalwalas. Farooq, I remember very fondly. You, I met very briefly, but I do recall. Nice to say hello. Hi. Good to see you. Yeah.
There's Monica who's wishing Ashish to everyone. And she says it's so interesting to hear such stories from you, Sunny. Can go on listening to them.
Thank you.
उनके requested कोई एक then we just
अब भाई
call it a day.
हाँ, एक चलो हम कहानी सुनाई दे. हमने जब लोरेटो अलमनी एसोसिएशन बनाया तो जैसे कि मैंने कहा कि मेरा core group of friends became committee members. Amongst that core group of friends was one of my dearest friends, Meher, who unfortunately met with a very tragic end. But she was elected treasurer. अब वो treasurer तो बन गई. अब हम लोग अकाउंटिंग करते थे, तो एनुअल जनरल मीटिंग में अकाउंट्स पढ़े जाते थे कि भाई इतना आया, इतना खर्चा, ये हुआ, वो हुआ. तो इतना आया, ये आउटगोइंग हुई, फिर इतना आया आउटगोइंग जियो के, फिर इतना आया जियो के, फिर आउटगोइंग कहीं जियो के. मैंने कहा जियो के क्या है? She said, frankly, you know, Zarine, GOK means God only knows.
Only she could
have done such a thing like that.
Got away
with it, and the nuns and the entire body of the Loreto alumni would accept that is in fact a fact. Everything is accounted for, but how it went and where it went, God only knows. तो ये किस्से कहानी बहुत प्यारे हैं, बहुत प्रेशियस है.
Hi Zarine, this is Veera here.
Let me just add one, since the question that just
Veena Talwar.
Veena saying your persona is beautifully captured in a book by Veena Talwar. I mean, Yasho is the Dakshita Das is saying that you were a legendary person. Your persona is captured beautifully in a book by Veena Talwar. Are you aware of that?
No. Thank you for telling me.
Dakshita,
Please send me the
reference.
details of the book and I must buy it myself to see Veena has done me justice or not.
और यशो आपको कॉम्प्लीमेंट दे रहे हैं बल्कि हमको भी उसमें शामिल कर रहे हैं यशो कहते हैं hats off to the two strong and successful women of Lucknow in conversation with each other.
Thank you, Yasho. Always a charming gentleman.
Thank you, Yasho. And I think on that note, we say bye-bye to our viewers. We thank Zarine for being with us, for giving us so much time, and for being, Zarine is a great one for punctuality. And we were very clear at the outset that we must wrap up the show in exactly 1 hour.
And that's why I've enjoyed doing this mood. And I thank Sanatkada Madhuri, you, the young gentleman here. I think it's an honor. And,
it's an honor for us that you agree.
It's an honor. And to be called Lucknow ke Nayaab Nageene. I mean, I fell off my bed laughing at the term.
It's a very complimentary term.
I know enough Urdu to know. But whether I was fitting into that picture, a lot of people might controvert me. Now I don't. And a lot might agree, I hope. So yeah,
so
thank you.
Bye-bye, viewers. Wait for our next episode of Nayaab Nageene, capturing the essence of Lucknow through its people. Bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Good night.